friends, I'm Krista. Thanks for stopping by Books and Jams yet again today. I'm so glad that you're here, and I hope that you're having a fabulous day. Today, we are going to be doing a combined book haul revisit from December, January 2016, and January 2017. So this is 2 years ago when I was on my first year of BookTube, and I'm a little bit behind, which is why I'm doubling up. I didn't do very many videos in November of this year, so in December I filmed November's book haul revisit, and so now I'm going to do December and January all together. This is going to be a rather long video because in December of 2016, I had 4 different videos in which I hauled books. 4. So I have quite a few books to look back at and see if I've read them or unhauled them or if they're still sitting unread on my shelves. And then 1 video from January 2017. I will play bits and pieces of videos from 2 years ago when my hair is super short, kind of makes me miss it, and look back and see what books I hauled, and then we'll talk about where they stand on my shelves, and I will show you if I still have them. Along with watching the clips on the videos, I will be showing you this 3-ring binder that I use for my whiteboard, and I will keep track on here on whether the books are read, unread, and then if I've unhauled them, did I read them first or not? We'll keep track of that as well. So there are quite a few books, quite a few videos, and we need to get moving. So let's do it. This first video is from a Secret Santa unboxing that I did, and the first few items were not a book, so I kind of skipped to the part where I opened the book, and my reaction is so much fun that I wanted to include that as well. So enjoy!
Oh my goodness. I can't wait to see what's in here. She taped it really well.
Oh, yes! Shadow and Bone from Leigh Bardugo. I'm so excited! I did read Shadow and Bone. Oh, Siege and Storm. The second one in the Shadow and Bone trilogy. Now I have 2. I have that one right here. So far we are 1 and 1. It's a Jojo Moyes book. I'm not one of those like save the wrapping paper people. I just like to tear it off. Oh, nice. 1+1 by Jojo Moyes. This one is not wrapped, but it's Mr. Penumbra's 24-hour bookstore. Okay, so of the 4 books that I received from that Secret Santa, I only read 1 of them. I did not read Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo, which is on my series that I need to continue shelf because I would really like to continue this series. I did read Shadow and Bone and really enjoyed it. 1+1 by Jojo Moyes. I have a pile of Jojo Moyes right here. And I've only read 2 of those, but this is another one that I would like to read of her. And I have a pile up on top of this bookcase, way up at the top. I have a pile of books about books that I need to read eventually, or do a try chapter tag or something along those lines. But this is definitely one that I would like to read someday. Just haven't read it yet. That was the first video, so that was not so bad. 3 unread and 1 read. That was a fantastic gift from my Secret Santa. So we're gonna move right along to the next video, which is a Vlogmas. I did Vlogmas 2 years ago. Another Vlogmas video on day 12. This is the book outlet haul, mostly the book outlet haul that I placed during Black Friday of that year. So there's gonna be quite a few books, but as you know from Book Outlet, they were all pretty cheap. So even if there's a lot of unread books, guys, don't give me any grief about it. There are a bunch of books in here, so let me just get right into it. So the first book that I see is called The Good House by Anne Leary. This is about a woman named Hildy Good who lives on the North Shore of Boston, and her daughters do an intervention and have her sent to a rehab for drinking. The Good House is one that I unhauled. I did not read it. It just didn't make the cut during one of my unhaul sessions in my shelves. So that one is unhauled. Then I got the summer version of this short story collection edited by Stephanie Perkins called Summer Days and Summer Nights, 12 Love Stories. I meant to get to this one in the summer, but I never did. So I'll save it for this coming summer. Short stories, haven't read it yet. The next one I see in here is The 19th Wife by David Ebershoff. I also have not read The 19th Wife. This is a historical fiction about the beginnings of the Mormon Church, I believe. What's his name? Brigham Young and his many wives. I'm assuming this one is mostly about the 19th one. Regardless, not yet been read. Picked up two by this author, A Taste for Nightshade and An Appetite for Violet. I unhauled The Taste for Nightshade, but I did keep An Appetite for Violets. I feel like the synopsis of this one sounded a little bit more interesting to me. It does have kind of a Downton Abbey feel, upstairs, downstairs. This lady's maid kind of falls in love with the younger brother of her mistress. I don't know when I'll get to this one, but I'm keeping it for now. But I did unhaul A Taste for Nightshade. Oof, sorry, I just kicked you. This one I have seen around a little bit, The Library at Mount Char by Scott Hawkins. I don't really know anything about it other than I've seen it briefly here and there, and it has the word library in the title, and I love my library. I haven't read this one yet. I believe this is kind of a scary book. Maybe a bit of a thriller with a touch of horror in it. I am not sure, but this is in that same pile with Mr. Penumbra's, with books about books that I would like to read, or at least give a chance to. So I'm not getting rid of it yet. Let me do that try chapter tag and then we'll see. Oh, just to show you, we are at 1 read, 7 unread, 2 unhauled, and there's quite a long ways to go. This is another book that I picked up based on the cover, and it's called Tumbleweeds by Layla Meacham. I did unhaul this one as well. I have The Star-Touched Queen by Roshani Chachki. I have Star-Touched Queen, haven't yet read it. I believe this is now a trilogy, but I'm not interested in starting any new series until I finish up some of the series that I'm in the middle of, so I'm not going to be picking this one up anytime really soon, but it does still interest me enough that I'm going to hold on to it. It's a YA fantasy by Roshani Chachki. It's a beautiful cover. Of course, I can't do a haul pretty much without any books from World War II era, so this is mine for this one, and it's called The Fires of Autumn by Irene Nemirovsky, and she's the author of Sweet Francais. I have this still unread on my shelves up on my World War II shelf, which is growing and growing and has lots of books that need to be read. Anyways, yeah, haven't gotten to this one yet either. I loved this copy of The Hobbit. I've read this multiple times. I love The Hobbit. I purchased The Rabbitback Literature Society by Pasi Ilmari Jackal. Oh my goodness, how would you pronounce that? Here is yet another book that is up on my Books About Books. So this is The Rabbitback Literature Society by, I still don't know how to pronounce that name. This one does seem like a good wintry kind of a book. It's about this elite society of writers that are chosen by this children's book author. She started this this literature society, and then this new girl is joining the group, but things are a little more strange than she expected. So there's a little bit of a mystery involved there. It just sounds like a lot of fun. And now that I see the cover and all the snow, I'm like, I should be reading this in the wintertime. So maybe this winter, if we have a snowy weekend, this will be something that I pick up, but haven't yet. So just an update. We are at 2 read, 10 unread, and 3 unhauled. It's gonna get even worse, folks. This is by Meg Rosoff. It's called How I Live Now. It's about a 15-year-old who goes to live in English countryside with cousins she's never met. And then England is attacked and occupied by an unnamed enemy. Cousins find themselves out on their own. Power fails, system fails. It's kind of a survival story, a love story. So I have not yet read How I Live Now either. This is in my pile of short books that I've pulled out for the month of January. And if I don't get to this one this winter, I am going to unhaul it. I've picked it up and set it down as I've been doing unhauls before. And for some reason it's made the cut multiple times. So if I don't read it this January, I am just going to unhaul it, but we'll see. I guess you'll have to stay tuned for that. Then I have Confessions, which is a thriller by Kanae Minato. I did unhaul Confessions because I heard enough people talk about it, and the more I heard about it, the less I thought it would be a book for me. So got rid of that one. Then I got Dream On, which is the sequel to Dream a Little Dream by Kirsten Gier. So I do have Dream On. It is not yet read, and just like Star-Touched Queen, I am not eager to start more series until I finish the series, some of the series that I'm already in the middle of, or at least get some progress made on those. So I'm not sure when I'm going to pick up Dream a Little Dream and Dream On, and if I will. My YA shelves are dwindling. I'm realizing that when I first started BookTube, as you're seeing in these haul revisits, I picked up and read a lot more YA than I have been recently, and so I often will just read them and get them off my shelves and pass them along. There's very few that I tend to like and want to keep. So my YA shelves used to be a whole bookcase, and now it's, I think, only 2 shelves up at the top, and even that is dwindling down. So that's besides the point, though. Let's continue. And the last one in this box is called Among Others by Jo Walton. Wrapping up this video with Among Others, which I also have not yet read. This one is a bit of a magical realism book about a young girl and a boarding school and magic and a ghost, I think, even. So yeah, haven't read this one yet. I feel like I should read it in October. So maybe this October I'll pick it up. But yeah, so far we're 2 videos down, 3 to go. And the numbers are getting worse and worse and worse. So 2 read, 13 unread, and 4 unhauled. Moving on to the next video. In this video, I do a little bit of book shopping at a couple different places. So I'm gonna skip to it's a vlog, so I'm gonna skip to the 2 parts where I share the books that I hauled at 2 different used bookstores in Massachusetts, when I used to live in Massachusetts. First one here is Enchanted by Alethea Contis. This is a Princess and the Frog retelling, and it's not an Insta-Love Disney version of The Princess and the Frog. This says if Neil Gaiman and the Brothers Grimm had a child who grew up to weave fairy tales, she would be Alethea Contis. Read this book, it's an absolute winner. Okay, so the first one is, guess what, unread. And it's Enchanted by Alethea Contis. I like fairy tale retellings, and I don't think I have any others that are Princess and the Frog, or I don't think I've read any that are. So this should be a fun read. Someday. It's the story of my life. Someday. Next I have The Shape of Mercy by Susan Meissner. I did read Shape of Mercy. I love Susan Meissner. It actually is the first Susan Meissner that I ever read, way before BookTube days, but I didn't own it. And I'm so glad that I do now. It's one that I would definitely love to reread. And I definitely need to read more Susan Meissner this year. It needs to happen. As Bright as Heaven, you guys always recommend As Bright as Heaven to me. I also heard Secrets of a Charmed Life is really good. The Shape of the Ocean. A Bridge Across the Ocean. Sound Among the Trees, and A Fall of Marigolds is also one that really gets recommended. I own 5 of her books now. Okay, moving on. How I Came to Sparkle Again, and this just seemed like a nice wintry read. This is by Kaya McLaren. I did just read How I Came to Sparkle Again in December, and I really enjoyed it. It was not as fluffy as I thought it would be. It was really heartwarming. I enjoyed it a lot. It was perfect for December. A ski town in Colorado. Yeah, it was good. Next I picked up Winter Solstice by Rosamund Pilcher. This book has been on my winter TBRs for the last 2 years. Well, since I bought it. And I even started it this year, but kind of lost interest. So I think next year is going to be the winner. And I do want to read it in December because I feel like it is going to be a good December book. I am setting it down for this year, though. I've decided I'm moving on. I did start it, though. It did get started, but it's still unread. You know that I just unhauled an Anne Rinaldi, so I found another one about the Salem witch trials called A Break with Charity by Anne Rinaldi. And she, again, writes young adult historical fiction. So this one's about the Salem witch trials, and I'm excited to read it. I have not yet read this either. A Break with Charity by Anne Rinaldi. I really enjoy her books. I don't love that they're mass market paperbacks, but I have like 3 or 4 now, and I've read 2, I think, but not this one. I picked up another Kristen Hanna. A lot of people have told me that Firefly Lane is their favorite, and I don't own this one yet, so now I do. I know that this is a relatively new book, and it's The Chemist by Stephanie Meyer. All right, The Chemist I unhauled. I did not read it, but I unhauled it. So here we are with 4 read, 16 unread, and 5 unhauled that I didn't read. Yikes. Still have a couple piles to go, and we have another section in this video. I'm gonna skip ahead now to later in the video where I haul some more books. The joys of having bookish friends is that when you stop in to say hi, you end up leaving with a book. And I'm excited because I just picked up Before We Were Strangers by Renee Carlino. I did read Before We Were Strangers pretty close to when I hauled it, actually. I think I read it in early 2017, and it was okay. It was good. I don't think I loved it. I think ultimately it's pretty forgettable because I don't remember really anything about it. I did read it, so I'm marking it as read. The first one is called The Circle by Dave Eggers, and I had seen this around. I think it's a dystopian. Okay, here we go. I did read The Circle. Again, it's another one that I didn't love, but was pretty good. I enjoyed it, I think, more than the movie. which is typical. Yeah, it's kind of about a potential future where, say, like a Google type organization takes over, not takes over in a bad way, but like everybody is a part of this internet community almost. And if you're not a part of it, it gets dangerous in the book. So yeah, it was interesting. Not the best, but fun. Then I picked up a Kristen Hanna that I don't have yet again, and this is called The Things We Do for Love. This is a shorter one than some of the others. I think I missed showing you Firefly Lane. I have to go back in the video and find. I was skipping a little bit. So I have two Kristen Hanna that I picked up in this video. Firefly Lane, which I haven't yet read, but heard is, I actually think this is one of her most popular ones other than the Nightingale. And then also The Things We Do for Love, which, sneak peek, you will be seeing on my February TBR. It's getting really dark out, so sorry if the shadows are getting worse. Yikes, I need to wrap this up. So yeah, The Things We Do for Love, you'll be seeing on my February TBR, but I have not yet read these two. I picked up The Hotel on the Corner of Bitter and Sweet by Jamie Ford. And finally, in this video, we have Hotel on the Corner of Bitter and Sweet, and I have not read this one. I've heard really good things about it, and I actually heard that it has something to do with World War II, which I was not aware of, but this has dual timelines. I've just heard so many good things about it, so this is definitely one that I am going to keep until I give it a chance. So that is the end of this third video. 2 more to go. And at this point, we are at 6 read, 19 unread, and 5 unhauled. Okay, moving on to the next video. This one is no longer a Vlogmas video. This is my last book haul of 2016. This includes a Boxing Day sale book outlet order. Back in the day when I could afford to do lots of book outlet orders. I couldn't afford it, but I did anyway. Here we go. The only book I received for Christmas was from my mother, and it is a book called The Weight of Words by Joseph M. Stowell. And this is just a devotional book about the importance of our words and being aware of the things that we're saying and the impact that they have on each other and on our prayer life and on our own attitudes and outlook on life. I'm not surprised that I haven't read this. I really need to prioritize reading some of the Christian nonfiction that I have. I have a lot of learning, focused Christian life kind of books that I would really like to read. They're just piling up and I haven't read them. So that one does not surprise me at all. Ooh. One of the books that I found is A Career of Evil by Robert Galbraith and The Cuckoo's Calling by Robert Galbraith, who is J.K. Rowling, as most of you probably know. These are chunkers, but they're gorgeous, and I got them for so cheap, and they're hardcover, and I need to read them. Haven't read them yet. Also by J.K. Rowling, I picked up a paperback version of The Casual Vacancy. And along with the J.K. Rowling, might as well add Casual Vacancy to this pile. I haven't read this one either, and this is actually in, I did a video not too long ago of my lowest rated books on my own TBR, and this is one of the lowest rated books. So I'm a little wary to get to this one, but many of you said that you liked it, so I'm willing to give it a try. Another one that I picked up is Little House on the Prairie by Laura Ingalls Wilder. I'm counting this as read. I read it when I was a kid, right? It can count as a read book on my shelves because I had already read it before. I just didn't own it. I picked up a hardcover of A Long Way Gone, Memoirs of a Boy Soldier from Ishmael Bey. Bia? So this is, yeah, the memoir of a boy who was enlisted into, or forced to become a soldier at quite a young age in Sierra Leone, I think is where he's from. And it's definitely a book that I'm very interested in reading. It's not very long. This is definitely one that I would like to get to. Still have a little ways to go. This is Snowflower and the Secret Fan by Lisa C. I've recently heard a bunch of you actually talking about this one. Sarah from Sarah's Nightstand read this year, or last year. I think April from Getting Hugga With It read it last year. And I've heard others of you just tell me it was very meaningful and moving for you, especially the chapter or section about foot binding. Yeah, but this is about a young woman who kind of almost a coming of age. She has this mentor and they communicate by writing on their fans and passing them back and forth. Snowflower and the Secret Fan by Lisa C. I'm very interested in reading that, but haven't yet done it. I have a book for my Jane Austen inspired shelf. This is called The Pemberley Ranch. It says at the top, it's Pride and Prejudice meets Gone with the Wind with that kind of romance and excitement. I'm surprised I haven't read this one yet, Pemberley Ranch by Jack Caldwell. It is kind of a Pride and Prejudice retelling set on a ranch. Kind of Civil War time. I mean, we talking about the Confederate States and the Yankees. It should be a lot of fun with that kind of a historical bent on it. It's definitely something I would like to read. My Jane Austen inspired shelf is getting pretty huge though, so I'm not surprised I haven't gotten to it yet. There's just a lot of them. I added the last book that I needed for Kate Morton, The Secret Keeper. I did read The Secret Keeper and I loved it. It was one of the books recommended to me for my 2017 Booktuber Recommends jar challenge thing that I did, and really, really enjoyed it. Historical fiction, dual timelines, a bit of a mystery, family secrets. What's not to love? I picked up this copy of The Husband's Secret by Liane Moriarty, and here's another one that I have read. I actually read it before I owned it. I just wanted to collect all of Liane Moriarty's books and potentially reread it, because honestly, even though I have read this one, I don't remember a single thing about it. Not a thing. But that's very typical for me. I do better now that I talk about them on BookTube, but before BookTube, I don't remember a lot of books that I read. It's The Orchid House by Lucinda Riley. So it's about a woman named Julia who grows up in this big house called Wharton Park. Lucinda Riley, you know, is an author that I really want to read. If you've been watching my channel for any length of time, you know that I haven't read her yet. So Orchid House is one of the first ones that I picked up by her. Let's just pause. We're getting closer to the end. So now we're at 9 read, 25, 10, 15, 20, 25, 27 unread, and 5 unhauled. Yikes. I think I say yikes every time I look at those numbers. Goodness. The second one that has a house in the title is called The Secrets of Roscarbury Hall by Anne O'Loughlin. Yet another book with a house or a home on the title. Some secrets involved, clearly, because that's in the title too. This one's about 2 older women. I don't know if they're sisters or friends, and this home and some secrets. Sounds good, right? Well, sounds good to me. Those are all like buzzwords for me. Secrets and a family estate. Those are definitely things that I am drawn towards. But obviously not drawn enough to read it in the last 2 years. Yikes. Yikes. There I go again. The third one is called Black Rabbit Hall by Eve Chase, and this is about a house set on the Cornish coast. Here's yet another book about a hall, a big home, and family secrets. I believe this one has kind of a gothic feel to it, which I really enjoy. Some have said that it has like Rebecca influences, which I loved Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, so I'm sure that I'm gonna like this one, but I just haven't gotten to it yet. This is popular. I've seen it quite a bit on BookTube, The Magicians by Lev Grossman. I did unhaul The Magicians without reading it. Decided it wasn't going to be the book for me. Ruth Ware's book, In a Dark, Dark Wood, I picked. And last in this video is In a Dark, Dark Wood by Ruth Ware. I read Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware and did not care for it. I need to give her another shot. I just haven't read it yet. So here we go. Last section. That is it for December. Now I just have a short video for... Oh no, I'm not done. I'm not done yet. And finally, I have a book called All Is Not Forgotten by Wendy Walker. All Is Not Forgotten, I did unhaul. It just didn't make the cut, so I got rid of it, did not read it. All right, that is it now. That is it for December. Now we're moving on to a shorter video for January. Last section. This is already 40 minutes long. Editing this is going to be a bear, but I'm going to do it because I love you guys. And I want to get caught up on these. I didn't want to do 2 separate ones. So here we go, jumping right into January. So I did pick up one book from that store, and it's Girl at War by Sarah Novick. All right. So the first one I've not yet read, Girl at War, Sarah Novick. I'm very interested to read this because I've been to Bosnia and Herzegovina back in 2007, I want to say. And this is about the civil war that happened in what was Yugoslavia in the 1990s. So I remember this time period. I was alive. It was when I was in high school. I'm really interested in reading a historical fiction, which is now looking quite a ways back, but about a time period that I can remember personally and a place that I've actually been. So I feel like this will be a really good read. Like many others, it's just one that I haven't gone to yet. So I grabbed 2 more of these Agatha Christie's that are in the same edition as the ones that I picked up from the library sale this summer, only these were $1 cheaper. So they were only $1 each instead of $2 each, which, I mean, come on, you can't really resist. Some of you have already seen my Agatha Christie, and my last November haul is when I picked up the rainbow colors, and so I was very excited when I saw 2 others, but I still haven't read them. And some of you did say, what do the fronts look like? Because I think in the other one I only showed you the spines, which I love the spines, but there are kind of pictures on the front that give a little insight into the story inside as well. So 2 more Agatha Christie. This needs to be the year that I pick up some Agatha Christie. The Grown Up by Gillian Flynn, which is a very, very short story. I did read The Grown Up, I think last January, and unhauled it. So finally, we have something that I did read. This last category has a ticker mark. So we're at 9, still only 9 read ones. 10, 20, 33 unread, and 7 unread and unhauled, and 1 that I read and unhauled. The book that I chose this month is The Most Dangerous Place on Earth by Lindsay Lee Johnson. I did unhaul this book of the month one. I was holding on to this one, and I have like 2 more I think that I'm just going to pass on for my book of the month picks. I'm not going to feel guilt about the fact that I did spend money, more than 50 cents at a library sale, which is the case with most of my books, but I did spend a little more on this one, but it's okay. I don't have an interest. I have 500 other books that I do have interest in, so I don't need to hold on to it in hopes that I'll read it someday, because I just don't care. This box set of Morgan Matson books, Since You've Been Gone, Second Chance Summer, and Amy and Roger's Epic Detour. Okay, here is the other 2 in this box set. I did read and unhaul Since You've Been Gone. I read that this past summer, I think in August, and it was okay. It was fine, but I didn't need to keep it. And I think the same thing is going to happen with these ones. Amy and Roger's Epic Detour and Second Chance Summer, which this one in particular I heard is going to make me cry, which I'm totally down for that. So maybe I'll end up keeping them, but as with a lot of YA these days, I read it and then unhaul it right away. But I do have an interest in reading them still. I just haven't yet. It's Everybody Sees the Ants by A.S. King. Here's another YA that just didn't make the cut one of the days. Everybody Sees the Ants. I did pass that one along. It's been unhauled off of my shelves. I just have more interest in other books on my shelves, so that one, it was time for it to go into hands that might appreciate it more. The next book that I have here has a lot of mixed reviews, and that is The Nest by Cynthia Deprix Sweeney. Here's another one that I unhauled. I mean, I picked it up because it has such a gorgeous cover. I couldn't resist. It was super cheap in this book outlet haul, which is where this section of books came from. But I can't justify keeping a pretty cover when I don't have interest in reading the book, and more and more and more I heard just negative or meh kind of reviews about it, so it had to go. Sleeping Giants by Sylvain Nouvelle is another one that has had some mixed reviews on BookTube, so I'm curious as to what I think about it. Sleeping Giants is another one that didn't make the cut. It has been unhauled. There just was other more interesting things for me on my shelves, and I didn't think that this would be a book that I would really enjoy. Plus, when I first got it, I didn't realize it was going to be part of a series or trilogy, and now I know that it is, and I just don't have an interest in reading a series that is about a robot hand found under the ground. Too science fiction-y for what I normally go for, which I usually read a wide variety of things, but for some reason this one just I lost interest in it completely, so it's gone. The next book that I grabbed is Howl's Moving Castle, written by Diana Wynne Jones. I read Howl's Moving Castle during middle grade March, last March, and really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. Watched the movie as well, which was fun. So I have here another middle grade book called The Wollstonecraft Detective Agency, The Case of the Missing Moonstone. Here is a middle grade that I actually unhauled. I think I passed this along to one of my middle grade aged friends. I have a lot of unread middle grade on my shelves, and I'm hoping to get to a lot of them during middle grade March, but this one just wasn't as pressing in my mind as some of the other ones. So it's passed along. Birthmarked, and it's written by Kara M. O'Brien. I thought I still had Birthmarked, but I don't. It's gone. So I must have unhauled it. I looked all over for it today, and I can't find it. So it must have not made the cut at some point and gotten unhauled. Who knew? It's pretty sad when you have so many books on your shelves that you can't even remember when you unhaul some of them. A very small book. It's called Amanda Miranda. Here's another one that I unhauled. Miranda. Didn't want to read it. It's a middle grade or YA Titanic historical fiction. 26 Kisses by Anna Michaels. And this just seems like a fun, lighthearted contemporary. I'm not going to go get it, but I do have 26 Kisses up on my YA shelves. I am hoping to read this in February and then pass it along if it's not one that I need to keep, which I'm thinking it won't be. But I do still own this one, and it is unread, as are so many others in this video. There you have it. Those are all the books from my last haul in a while, hopefully. We made it. That is the end, and this is almost an hour of editing. I'm shooting myself right now. Here are the final results. So there are 10 that I read, 36 unread, 14 that I unhauled without reading them, and 2 that I read and then unhauled. This was a lot. It was a huge haul for December. It was Christmas, book outlet, some book outlet orders, lots and lots of books, clearly. Lots and lots of books that still need to be read, and some that have been unhauled, which I'm pretty pleased about. But as always, I love chatting with you in the comments. If you noticed any books that I haven't yet read that you think I should move art up onto my priority TBR, go ahead and let me know about that. If you think there are any in here that are probably not the book for me, let me know that as well. I'm happy to unhaul, as you've seen. But I do have a lot of excitement about a lot of these. I'm definitely going to be putting back on my priority list that book about books, try a chapter tag that I want to do, because having a couple of them be in this pile makes me want to do that soon rather than later. Yeah, let's just chat in the comments below. And if you like this video, if you like really long videos, let me know that too. I tend to prefer still watching shorter videos, but some people are liking the longer, chattier ones, and hopefully you didn't mind this long video from me. So give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll be chatting with you in another video very soon. Bye!